matches the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:03, 63 degrees. Happy Tuesday morning to you. I'm Ken Lundberg. This is the WSJM Morning Show. We'll have our interview. Our candidate discussions continue on the morning show. Today, we have Rick Berrien in the studio to talk about his run for the Berrien County Sheriff's Office. That will be coming up in just a few moments. The Berrien County Democratic Party is uniting behind Vice President Kamala Harris as endorsements for her are on the rise. Berrien County Democratic Party Chair Amy Scrima tells us she's been hearing from Democrats around the county who are energized and looking to help now that Joe Biden has stepped aside in the race for the White House. They said that she has a lot of gratitude for the former candidate and the current president.
We are looking forward to another 4 years of continued progress in all the areas that Democrats are best positioned to provide progress in. Nothing but thankful for everything that President Biden has done for us as a country.
Scrima says there was no doubt Berrien County Democrats would back Harris as support mounted for the vice president. She says locally, Democrats are ready to get to work.
We obviously are a county party, so we're focused on electing our county candidates. We have more than 50 candidates running in Berrien County on the Democratic ticket, and we're very excited about our ability to bring Democratic values across the county.
Scrima does believe Harris will have coattails on which local Democrat candidates could ride in November. She also believes Harris can continue economic momentum started by the Biden administration while protecting the environment and women's rights. A teacher from Detroit is in South Haven today to begin a run all the way across the state of Michigan. Sarah Porter starts her journey along Lake Michigan, running 217 miles over the next 6 days. She plans to arrive in St. Clair Shores next Monday. Porter is running to raise money for Girls on the Run and the Teacher Salary Project. She tells us she's starting in South Haven because there was already an identified route in that area that goes across the state, and it begins there.
There was no women's record for the run, so they basically just keep track of who ran the route the fastest, and no woman has ever tried it before. So being a Michigander, I was like, well, that would be a cool route to try. No woman has done it before, so really all I have to do is complete the route.
Girls on the Run is a health and self-esteem program that involves thousands of girls taking part in a run each year. The Teacher Salary Project seeks to raise awareness about the working conditions faced by public school teachers. Porter says after a rough year in the classroom, she decided to do this run to combine her love of running with a desire to make a difference. And she says it's not going to be easy.
So I expect a lot of beautiful scenery, with some uncomfortable moments where I'm going to have to push through and find what I'm made of.
Porter is being followed by family and supporters in a tour van. She has set up a fundraising page and is encouraging others to join her in a mission to make a difference. Porter is seeking to be the first woman on record to run all the way across Michigan to raise money for charity. We have more information on how you can look at what she's doing at our website, WSJM.com. And Berrien Life is preparing for its annual 5K walk and run this weekend in Berrien Springs to help support emergency shelter services. After having success last year in its inaugural race, the organization wanted to continue its mission of giving back to the community. Race director Brad Wurzel says he's looking forward to doing it again this year.
This is the second year. The reason we started putting it on was we just felt like we wanted to be able to give back to the community. And so we felt like 5K is a great way to be able to fundraise for different nonprofits or organizations that are helping in the community.
In addition to the 5K race on Sunday morning, there will be a family fun fest at the newly constructed Sylvester Stadium, that will include activities for all ages at the festival. Food trucks, emergency vehicles, inflatables, sports and game challenges will be featured. The walk and 5K run begin at 9 a.m. on Sunday, and at 10 a.m. there will be a family fun run, and 10:30 they'll begin the family festival event. Registration is still open. You can get more information on our website, wsjm.com. That's a look at some of the stories that we're covering from the WSJM newsroom. We've got a lot more coming up in just a few moments. We'll have a talk with the Southwest Michigan Chamber and find out what they have going on. Also, our interview with Rick Berrien. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff. You can hear that begin right now on the WSJM live stream. Go to Facebook or YouTube and tune in. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
In Major League Baseball, Derek Skubal pitched 7 innings, and Justin Henry Malloy hit a 2-run home run, leading the Detroit Tigers to an 8-2 win over the Cleveland Guardians.
All right. Up close and personal on the microphone. You look like you're in a good position. Good morning, Rick Berrien. Am I saying your last name right?
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, Rick Berrien, yeah.
Okay. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good.
Good. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Welcome. It was a nice drive up here. Got to see the sunrise.
Yeah, you drove up here because you're down in the Niles area?
Yeah, I'm in Niles, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. Who is Rick Berrien?
I'm a 54-year-old married man. I've been married with my wife for 36 years. We have 10 kids, 8 grandkids.
10 kids?
Yeah, we have 10.
Wow.
My daughter Angela died in 2016, so we have,
Sorry to
we have
hear
10
that.
kids, 8 grandkids. So thank you. I have a bachelor's degree in community service. That's why I was going to go to school to be a lawyer, but I changed my direction when I started running for sheriff.
Okay. When did you start running for sheriff?
The first time I ran was in 2016.
Okay.
I should mention I've been self-employed my whole life. I've been a self-employed floor covering installer, so I started working for myself when I was 19 years old.
Okay.
I went and got my degree in 2013.
Okay. Back to where did you get your degree?
At the LMC is where I got my associates, and then
Okay.
Siena Heights is where I got my
Very nice. Okay,
bachelor's
so
degree.
you've been working in the area. What inspired you to run for sheriff?
And so in 2014, I was in college in political science classes, and I was complaining about politics. And my friend Ray Kirkus said, "Rick, have you ever run for office?" And I'm like, "No." And he said, "Well, if you haven't ever run for anything, then you should just shut up and quit complaining." And I'm like, "Okay, that's a good point."
Okay.
So I'm like, "Well,
That's straight talk.
I ran for county commissioner in 2014, and in that process, I ran into a lady who had been in the Berrien County jail for small reasons. She was driving without a license plate or whatever, but it escalated. She's in her late 60s, so
Yeah.
she's an older lady. She's small, and she told me that she had to sleep in this. They gave her a jumpsuit, take her clothes, give her a jumpsuit. And she had to sleep on the cement in this holding cell for I think 11 days. She told me, and
Oh,
I thought,
boy.
well, that's awful.
Yeah.
That's just terrible. They sleep right on the cement. And I had over the years of having people work for me, I had a couple guys that worked for me that were in that jail, and they had told me the same thing, that it's packed in the holding cells. They make you sleep on the cement, but I never really thought about it because they're men. And I'm like, well, you shouldn't be in there,
Yeah.
But when she told me that, it gave me a different idea of what it's like. And so then I went to the commissioners. I'm like, the sheriff makes people sleep on the cement in those holding cells. And they're like, well, it's his jail, so he can do what he wants. So as a candidate for a commissioner, I decided I would write a resolution that would require everyone in the holding cell to have a pad to sleep on,
Yeah.
so that they don't have to sleep on a cement.
I'm going to pause you
Okay.
right there because we've got to get Sarah on the phone for our Southwest Michigan Chamber update. But I want to continue that story,
Okay.
and we'll pick it up right there in just a few minutes. We're talking with Rick Berrien. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff, and we'll continue that interview in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Services and News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM. Contest dates and rules are on our website, WSJM.com.
There could be some dense fog in spots this morning. We'll see some sun and clouds mix today, highs in the low 80s. Lake Michigan's waves staying low. A stray shower not out of the question. Skies stay partly cloudy tonight, lows mid-60s. Feeling more humid Wednesday as a front comes through, giving us chances for rain and thunder. A bit more comfortable Thursday and Friday, drying out and seeing sun, returning to near 80 as we close out the week. I'm WSBD 22 meteorologist Jessica Burns.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
And it's starting out as a beautiful morning, Tuesday, 7:13. It's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. We'll continue our conversation with our guest. We have candidate discussions happening all month long here in the WSJM Morning Show. And in the studio is Rick Berrien. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff. Again, we have started that interview on a video live stream. We'll continue it in just a few moments. But first, we have a very important thing to do, and that is to talk to Sarah Spoonholtz with the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. Good morning, Sarah. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Lay it on us. What's going on with the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber?
Oh, well, we've got a lot of things coming up over the next couple of weeks. So starting this Thursday, actually, our Next Gen Young Professionals group is going to be partnering with Prairie Real Estate this Thursday from 5 until 7 p.m. for a downtown Benton Harbor Main Street trash pickup. So they traditionally have done more traditional style of networking, meet at a location, mix and mingle and such, but they want to start giving back to the community. So they are going to be picking up trash. So if you happen to be in the area on Thursday and you see a group of people in some hot, bright, highlighter yellow shirts, probably our group, and what a solid group of people. But if you are also interested in joining them and helping to give back, they are looking for additional volunteers to help them. Once they're done, they're going to head over to Babe's Riverfront there on Riverview Drive, the bar, new bar, and they're going to grab some libations, kind of kick back, relax, and celebrate a great day. So it looks like it's going to be good weather. At least I haven't checked this morning, but as of yesterday, it looked like it was going to be good weather.
Yes.
And just what a great group of people that are getting together to do something positive. And a big thanks to Prairie Real Estate and Laser Graphics for helping to sponsor this event and for covering the T-shirt. So that kicks us off, Ken. And
Very
then
nice.
next Tuesday at noon, we've got our next Chamber 101. This is great for any new members, any members that have been around for a while and just need a refresher. Anyone who's looking at possibly joining the Chamber, at our office in St. Joe's, about an hour. You'll do a quick introduction, who you are, where you are. We'll jump into what the Chamber is, what we are doing, how we are growing, and then we'll do some Q&A at the end. Lunch is welcome if you want to bring it with you. If not, you can grab it later, but you are welcome to join us. We are limited to 12, though, so pre-registration is crucial, and you can head to our website, smrchamber.com, for that to get registered. Then, actually, I should say the day before, I totally messed the order of this up, Ken. I totally messed it up.
Oh, no.
The day before, we're doing something fun. On Monday, July 29th, we are heading to Bridgman to celebrate with the city of Bridgman, also Surf Internet. Broadband, you and I know this incredibly well. It is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity. It's necessity for our kids to get schoolwork done, for us to do our jobs, and for people who are looking to come here, even if it's just on vacation, for something for them to have. So Surf Internet partnering with the city of Bridgman to bring broadband internet to the residents of the city of Bridgman. So we're doing the official groundbreaking for that. Super exciting about it. It's great to see another community that is going all in on broadband. Of course, also working with the townships and the county and Midwest Energy Communications on bringing that to them, but seeing those little pockets of other organizations that are partnering with that. So that'll be at 1 at Bridgman City Hall. I encourage everybody to come and join us for that. And then that Friday, August 2nd, we are celebrating with Mark and Carla Lemoyne at the Coloma St. Joseph KOA holiday. It's their 8th anniversary of owning the campground, and in that last 8 years, they did a ton of stuff. They've made lots of investments, improvements, and so forth, but it's the 50th anniversary of the campground itself. So we're going to be doing some double celebrations. And if you haven't had the chance to check out the campground, especially since their latest addition with the new deluxe RV campsites, highly encourage you to do so. They've got the glamping tents, they've got the deluxe cabins, they've got the RV sites, they've got the bounce pillow, and a lot of other great things that are happening out there. So come and join us. That'll happen at 10 o'clock on Friday, August 2nd. And we've got more things in the hopper, Ken. Lots more things that are going to be coming down the road. And if you want more information on it, you want to get signed up for any of our events, see our member events as well, because there's a lot of things happening the next few weeks here in Southwest Michigan, or just find out how the Chamber can partner together with your business or organization. Head again to our website, smrchamber.com.
smrchamber.com. Sarah Spoonholtz with the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Have a great one, and I will talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. We look forward to it. We'll talk more about all the things that are happening in Southwest Michigan. It's fantastic. Thanks, Sarah. We appreciate you. We'll continue our interview with Rick Berrien. He is running for Berrien County Sheriff. That is coming up in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Got a sprinkler system in your yard? Then you know the benefits. Really green grass, despite the summer sun. Fresh-looking landscape, vibrant plants. But if your sprinkler system needs work, it's time to get creative.
I'm Ryan from Creative Landscaping. Without regular water, the best landscaping plan won't last for long. That's why we offer full service on sprinklers and irrigation systems, installation, repairs, troubleshooting, spring turn-on, winterizing. At Creative, we do it all. Learn more at creativelandscapinginc.com.
Creative Landscaping and Design, making landscapes greener since 1976.
Who do you call when you have the most unique towing job ever? Well, when the Neon Grill wanted to take down the classic Chevy from their roof for restoration, they called Hassey's Towing and Crane Service. They trusted Hassey's to handle it. Hassey's Towing and Crane Service has the area's largest fleet of tow vehicles and cranes to accomplish almost any lifting job. Got a unique tow or lift job? Call Hassey's Towing and Crane Service, 927-3681. Hassey's Towing, the trucks with the red, white, and blue.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
Just about 7:20 on Tuesday morning. We're continuing our candidate discussion series here on the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Joining me in the studio this morning is Rick Berrien. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff. We started the interview just talking a little bit on the video live stream about who you are, and tell us a little bit more about why you decided to run for Berrien County Sheriff. You initially started doing this run back in 2016.
Yeah, 2016.
Was that after running for the Berrien County Commission?
Yeah.
Okay, so keep going.
So when I wrote that resolution and introduced it to the admin committee, and at that time, Mac Elliott was the chair of the admin committee.
Okay.
And the lady that I had mentioned that had been in the holding cell that inspired this was there, and there were several people there. And the sheriff came in and he told the admin committee that he didn't make people sleep on the cement, that everyone was sleeping on the pad, but he had just gone out that week and bought out all of the pads in the county so he could go in there and say that. And then she got kind of frustrated, and she stood up and she said, well, if you don't sign that resolution, I'm going to sue. And James McGovern was the county corporate attorney at the time. And he said, well, we can't talk about this anymore because she mentioned a lawsuit. And then he basically wadded that resolution up and tossed it. And they went back, and within no time, they went back to making people sleep on the cement in those holding cells. And they still do. As of 3 weeks ago, I know someone who was just in there, and it's still the same. They're still packed in there, still sleeping on the cement. So that was after that meeting, we went to the main committee meeting, and Paul Bailey, the former sheriff, was there. After the meeting, I walked up to him and I said, Paul, the Geneva Convention says that making people sleep on cement is torture. I said, someone could someone could murder their spouse on a Friday night. You pick them up and put them and make them sleep on that cement all weekend, and they could confess the crime. And then once they go into their trial, they could say, well, you coerced it out of them for making them sleep on the cement, and retract it, and and basically get away with murder. And he said, well, if you don't like it, finish your degree, become a lawyer, and then maybe you could do something about it. And I said, well, that's going to take too long. I'm just going to take your job instead. So at that moment, that's when I decided I was going to run for sheriff. I'd never intended to do that before, but I talked to people, I said that obviously, but it wasn't something that I really was planning on doing. But I went and I talked to my law professor. I talked to some state police that I knew. I talked to some deputies, and nobody wanted to run against Paul Bailey. I'm like, well, somebody has to do it. So I did. At that time, I was a Republican precinct delegate because I got elected a precinct delegate when I ran for county commissioner. I was elected as precinct delegate as well. And I was going to the meetings and stuff. And at that time, Fred Upton was in there, and Paul Bailey, and Mike Sepik was the prosecutor, and they had a very closely knit group, and it was hard for me to try and make any kind of real changes that I wanted to make in the Republican Party in general. So when I decided to run for sheriff, I left the Republican Party. I started the Berrien County Natural Law Party, and I ran as a third-party candidate in the 2016 cycle. And at that time, I got 17% of the vote. So it was me against Paul. Originally in that election cycle, we were supposed to vote straight ticket. That's what the Congress had decided, but an attorney on the other side of the state filed an injunction so that we would. He claimed his claim was that people weren't smart enough to vote straight ticket or to vote for individual candidates, so they had to have straight ticket voting so that people would be able to vote. And I didn't find out about that till about a little over 3 weeks after they did the injunction, and then I filed an appeal with the state Supreme Court, and we went all the way to the top, but they said that they claimed it was laches, and it took too long for me to file the case, so they wouldn't redo it. But I didn't know enough at the time to be able to battle back, so they ended up dropping that case. But
it's been quite an experience running for office, hasn't it?
It definitely is. Running for the sheriff it's probably one of the hardest offices to run for, because it's a countywide office, and there's so much politics involved. Running for a county commissioner is nothing compared to running for the sheriff. There's a lot more people care about the sheriff's office than they care about county commissioner.
One of the things you mentioned was the condition of the jails. What evidence do you have that the conditions there are poor?
So I've asked for tours several times, and they flat out deny me a tour of the jail. But like I said, I've had people that work for me have been there. I've had friends that have been in there. They in the gym, for example.
Well, and this is what you've heard.
Yeah, this is what is because like I said, they won't let me take a tour of the jail.
Okay,
so
I just wanted to clarify, because you make those allegations here on the air, and people may take it, but I just want to make sure that is there evidence, is there photographs or videos or eyewitness?
So if you want to talk about the conditions in the jail and evidence, you have to go and look at the civil rights lawsuits that have been filed. So that's people's testimony that that they're swearing that this is true. As far as what I'm telling you about sleeping on the cement, obviously I've never been in that jail. And like I said, I asked Paul for a tour. He said no. I asked Chuck for a tour. He said no. So they won't let me go in there and look.
Okay.
I'm not going to say things that I don't know are true. So if I tell you something, it's coming from someone who's been in there. For example, one of my friends is Marletta Seat. She's a county commissioner. She runs an outreach group in the jail. So when she tells me these things are happening, I know that it's true. I don't have to doubt that.
All right.
But go back to the conditions in the jail. Yeah. There's a gymnasium. There's supposed to be a gym, right? For to exercise or whatever. But because the jail is so full, they house people in there. So they have the light, the windows are all blocked off, so it's dark. So there's really no way to get any natural light in the jail. And that's another form of psychological abuse, if nothing else, is depriving people of natural light. A young man. So I should preface this by saying, because I ran for county commissioner and I ran for sheriff in 2016, people call me with their issues.
Right.
I guess it's because they don't know who else to turn to. They don't trust the system, whatever it is. But many people have told me their stories about being in that jail. So, I know that people elaborate, but like I said, long before I ever ran for sheriff, I had guys that worked for me that were in that jail that told me the exact same thing, other than they're just telling me how bad it is, and whatever. Okay. So, I would say if you want to go and if you have the stomach for it, go and read the civil rights lawsuits, because there's at least 20 that you can easily find in a Google search, for lawsuits against Berrien County Jail. Or you might even remember the stories, that the one, was it a doctor that we paid like $7 million because he lost hearing in his ear? I don't know if you remember that story or not. That was just recently. I think it was a doctor that did that.
So if you are elected sheriff, what is it that you would do in that particular situation about the jails?
Oh, okay. So the reason why this jail problem, in my opinion, the reason why we have this jail problem is because and this was confirmed by both Paul and Chuck, but we have a problem of too many people in the jail. There's, according to, he was under sheriff at the time, now he's Sheriff Hite. He told me that 2/3 of the people that are in that jail are awaiting trial. So they can't be put on any kind of like inmate work release or whatever, anything like that. They're awaiting trial. So there's no sentence. There's no way that they can be put to any good use other than just sitting there awaiting. You asked me, what can we do to alleviate that? One of the things that I'm proposing in Berrien County is a 24/7 magistrate system. So as soon as someone is arrested, rather than going and have to sit in the holding cell and wait till Monday to go and see a judge, they can go right before a magistrate, have their bond hearing, have show cause hearing. If there's a reason to hold them, then they can be held, and if there's not, they can be bonded out right then and there. One of the loopholes that we have in our legal system is when someone is arrested, until they're sentenced or bonded, you don't really have any rights. You have the right to remain silent, you have the right to attorney, but that's pretty much it. So the sheriff doesn't have any legal responsibility to take care of anyone, and you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. So in that case, when someone's arrested, you're presumed innocent rather than until you're proven guilty, and then you have to be held. That's cost us a whole bunch of extra money that we can do away with just by taking them before a magistrate and finding out whether or not they need to be held over for a hearing.
Okay. There's a lot to unpack there.
Okay.
Rick Berrien, he's bringing it this morning. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff. We're going to continue this interview right here on the WSJM Morning Show after this from Bloomberg, and then we'll have our local news right after ABC's international and national news.
Sometimes when people see things that aren't there, their friends look at them in alarm. Other times, when people see things that aren't there, they're called visionaries. Like Logan Drake, who beheld a stretch of beach and saw an amusement park. While courting his wife, she saw the moon path on the water shimmer like silver. In 1891, his vision became reality, his wife taking credit.
Okay, we've got a couple minutes before we go to Bloomberg and then ABC. So make sure that we've done this right. Yeah, I think we did this right. Okay. Thanks again for coming in. Tell us what your degree again was in.
My degree is in community service with a focus on family systems.
Okay, and so is part of that related to is part of that why you're so focused on the jails and the conditions there?
Yes, people. I did an interview with Right to Life, and they asked me how I'm pro-life, and I'm not just pro-life in the fact that I want to see babies being born. That's part of being pro-life, but pro-life is also recognizing that humans make mistakes, and they have just as much life in them as anyone does. We're supposed to respect the life that's in everyone, and our legal system, our justice system, is supposed to be about rehabilitation more than punishment. I mean, punishment in itself in our system is being taken away from your family, away from your friends, away from your life, away from everything, and being put into a condition where you're with everybody else that's being punished. That being separated from your family should be. I wouldn't want to do that. That's why I've never been in jail, because I've made sure that I've lived my life so I don't have to get in trouble and get punished and go through all those horrible things that happens when you get in trouble. Really, people make mistakes and it wrecks your life, but at some point you should be able to get back to your life.
Okay.
Hopefully, some people never do, and that's why we have federal prisons and life sentences and stuff like that. But, we're trying to make a better society, and we're trying to make it so that people can make mistakes and then still atone for it and get back into.
Okay, we're going to continue our interview with Rick Berrien. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
With Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
I tell you, it's a good one this morning. It's 7:31. Weather outside, it's beautiful. 65 degrees already in St. Joseph. Probably going to get up into the lower 80s if we're fortunate enough. There is a slim chance of rain. We'll have more on the forecast, more local news. It's all coming up next right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
ABC News, I'm Richard Katsu. The nose counters here at ABC News have determined that Vice President Harris has secured commitments from enough delegates to become the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee.
The Harris campaign releasing a statement labeling the race as a prosecutor versus a criminal, saying former California Attorney General Kamala Harris stands up to fraudsters and criminals, and that Donald Trump is a convicted felon. The campaign saying the vice president has held criminals accountable her entire career, and that Donald Trump will be no different.
ABC's Andy Field. Campaigning in Ohio, Trump running mate J.D. Vance said anyone looking to lead the country should feel grateful, and he has never Hear his word. Never heard such gratitude come through when he listens to the vice president. Chinese state media reporting Hamas and Fatah signed a declaration on ending the years-long rift between the Palestinian factions. There have been previous declarations like this that have led to absolutely nothing. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
64 degrees in Benton Harbor and in South Haven, 65 already in St. Joseph. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. This is the WSJM Morning Show. Some of the news that we're following today in the WSJM Newsroom. One of the men who kidnapped the manager of the Dunham's sporting goods store and held him at gunpoint while an accomplice stole 123 firearms was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison yesterday. 25-year-old Dontrell Nance was given consecutive sentences for kidnapping and brandishing a firearm during a crime of violence. He pleaded guilty in April. Nicole Grant told the U.S. District Judge Paul Maloney that her son had a turbulent childhood and significant challenges, including mental health problems. Last November, a store manager at Dunham's Sports in Benton Township was handcuffed and blindfolded outside his home and forced to reveal how to disarm the alarm at the store. The other perpetrator in that case, Darnell Bishop, has pleaded guilty and is awaiting sentencing. According to court records, he was responsible for going into the store and hauling the firearms out in coolers while Nance stayed with the manager in the car. The handguns, valued at more than $100,000, were eventually recovered. Federal agents believe the guns would have been sold on the streets. Berrien County has ended its trial of pay-as-you-leave parking at Silver Beach County Park after 2 runs this month. Both of them caused some problems. Speaking to the St. Joseph City Commission at their regular meeting Monday, County Administrator Brian Doucette said having visitors pay for their parking upon exit during 2 busy weekends simply didn't work, so they decided to end the study a little bit early. They're going to continue working with the city on a solution. We'll have more from that meeting last night coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. And Governor Gretchen Whitmer has formally endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris in the race for president. Following President Biden dropping out of the race on Sunday, Democrats have coalesced around Harris, who has been endorsed by Biden. Speaking Monday, Whitmer said she looks forward to serving as a campaign co-chair for Harris. So that and more coming up in our newscast at 8 o'clock. We'll continue our interview with Rick Briand. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff. That's coming up in just a moment after state news. And then we'll have our sports as well. Dave Wolf is back from vacation on this Tuesday. It's 7:35.
The Michigan News Network.
I'm Beth Fisher. A big show of...
Okay. Rick is battling, we're back with Rick Briand. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff, and he's battling a cough. I'm sorry to hear that. You want to talk about your cough?
Well, I was doing a job, and I got into some of that black mold, and I'm allergic to black mold. So
I don't know who isn't. I mean, isn't everyone allergic to black mold? You're not supposed to be around that stuff.
My brother-in-law.
You wearing respirators?
No.
Rick.
I never have. Yeah, I know. But my brother-in-law isn't allergic to it. I saw it, and I said, "Hey, you're going to have to do that." And he went in there and he dealt with it, and he didn't get sick, but I just saw it,
Yeah, goodness gracious, because you see that stuff and the spores are flying around in the air.
Yeah, that's the worst part. Yeah.
Do you treat it? I mean, what I'm told, because the DIY, everyone who has a basement has dealt with black mold at some point, one point or another, and I think the treatment has to do with either a mixture of bleach and vinegar, or just vinegar, and soap, or just bleach.
Wash it off with bleach, but the problem is, like in a basement, for example, if you're seeing black mold on the outside of your walls.
Oh, imagine what's on the inside.
Right. It's on the inside.
We have an issue with roly-polies. Any thoughts there?
I wish I did, because we do too. My daughter just told me, she says there's a whole bunch of them. Like, I don't know, in millipede. She said there's millipede. It must be the moisture.
I think it is the moisture, because for the last 2 springs and into summer, we've had no issues, because I've been putting diatomaceous earth around the foundation on the outside. Put it out there, bother them, they go away. But this year, it's, I think, because of the moisture.
Yeah,
they have just
bad too.
Are they really?
Yeah, the ants.
Oh boy, knock on wood. All right, let's continue our discussion with Rick Briand about sheriffs. How has the reception been for you running as sheriff? This is your second run at sheriff.
Yeah. And
how has it been?
It depends on
this time around.
It depends on the person. A lot of people thank me. They're like, "Oh, we need you," but so I'm outspoken about what I believe is wrong with the system. And it's easy for people to portray me as anti-government or anti-cop, and I'm not. I'm against the system that allows corruption to exist. And I don't care who you are. If you're corrupt and I just want to get rid of the corruption in the system. I think that government should be a servant for the people. I mean, it's people that my wife is a nurse. She works in mental health care. She does so much to help society, right? And those people really get very little recognition. She deals with the same kind of people that the police are dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
My wife has to be trained to subdue she's 5'3". She's small. She has to subdue the same kind of people that the police do. And they have techniques that are non-invasive. They have to do things like this to protect themselves. Everything that they do has to make sure that they're not threatening this person anyway. But it's the exact opposite in law enforcement. They deal with people that have mental health issues and they do take extreme measures to subdue them, And I'm not saying that's not necessary in some cases. That's why qualified immunity exists, because as long as an officer, whatever they do in the performance of their duty, they have immunity from it because it's in the performance of their duty. The problem is when they do things outside the scope of their office. And that's why we end up with civil rights lawsuits, and that's the stuff that I'm trying to focus on and deal with. I think that no matter what the sheriff and his people say about how much money we need because crime is so bad, and granted, there is a lot of crime in Berrien County, we can do a lot more than just throw money at it. There's a lot of ways that we can work with the community, that we can work in schools to try and bring civility back into our society.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And maybe feel free to elaborate on some of those initiatives that you would like to see if you're elected sheriff.
Well, I'd mentioned the 24/7 court. I think that would go a long ways in not only cleaning.
Do you know how much that would cost?
That would be in the admin and the finance committee's realm. But given that we already pay salaries to all these people, it's not like we pay more hourly wage. We wouldn't have to open up the whole court because obviously I'm talking about a show cause hearing, a bond hearing. The magistrate's office is on the first floor. So I think that the amount of money that we end up saving in lawsuits and housing these people would more than pay for the service. That
just to be clear, the jail would remain. It would still be there. You wouldn't see, I wouldn't think you'd see any reduction in cost there.
Well, in the cost in housing people that haven't gone to trial yet. In the holding cells, they have to feed those people
because the magistrate will decide. Okay, these will go free. These will continue to be held.
You just set a bond,
but these will be continue to be held.
Yeah, but then they're not in the holding cells. If they have a bond, then they can go into the general population.
Gotcha.
Okay. So then that changes that dynamic of how many people are in there. But also, if we do this as a pilot program and it works like it does in New York, they have 24/7 courts all the time and it works just fine. We could. One of the reasons why I came up with this is because I talked to another candidate, Roger Johnson, and he told me he's third shift, and he said it's really hard for third shift people to do their job because they have a first shift court. So if they have a day off, that's the day that they have to go to court. So it really messes up their life. Where if you pick someone up on third shift, take them right in there, you could go to court right then and there. Then their life remains the same. And my wife is a third shifter, and I know how hard it is for a third shift person to live a third shift life. It really messes up their cycle and everything. So once, like I told you, 2/3 of the people that are in there are awaiting trial. 24-hour courts would clear that right up.
Okay. We're going to continue our conversation with Rick Berrien. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff. We'll ask him a few more questions about what he would like to see with the jails and the other initiatives by the sheriff's department. Ask him about his qualifications to be sheriff, because you don't have a law enforcement background.
No.
So we'll talk about that in a moment. And then also during our Moody on the Market update, he'll give his pitch on why he would like your vote for Berrien County Sheriff. It's all coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Part of the group once you join in. So you're not just a number.
With Honors Benefits checking account, you'll earn 5.15% annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000, plus a $250 bonus. Visit honorcu.com and come be part of it. Some qualifications apply. 0% APY bonus will be paid within 30 days of requirements being met. Minimum opening deposit of $25. Rate subject to change. Insured by NCUA.
There could be some dense fog in spots this morning. We'll see some sun and clouds mix today, highs in the low 80s. Lake Michigan's waves staying low. A stray shower not out of the question. Skies stay partly cloudy tonight, lows mid-60s. Feeling more humid Wednesday as a front comes through, giving us chances for rain and thunder. A bit more comfortable Thursday and Friday, drying out and seeing sun, returning to near 80 as we close out the week. I'm WSBD 22 meteorologist Jessica Burns.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
And thank you for joining us. It's 7:42, 65 degrees outside. It's going to be, as you heard on the weather, nice day. It looks nice out there right now. We're continuing our candidate discussions with Rick Berrien today. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff, and we've been having a very good conversation. It's you can see the full video conversation of that on Facebook or YouTube. If you've missed any part of it, you can go back after we're done this morning at 8 o'clock and listen to that or watch it or share it with friends, whatever you want to do. And so, Rick, we were talking just a moment ago off the air about some of the things you'd want to change, and also your qualifications for sheriff. A lot of people have pointed out you don't come from a law enforcement background. How do you feel that affects your candidacy?
Well, my answer to that is in Berrien County, we've had 20 years of corruption. So the way I look at it is anybody that's got experience in that's just got experience in working for a corrupt system. No, that being said, I studied law. I was gonna be a lawyer, so I studied law. I studied legal procedure. I understand law from a lawyer's perspective, both from a prosecutor side and from the defense side. So when I think about law and when I look at it, it's more than just somebody handing me a paper and telling me do this or do that. I actually think about whether or not this is a lawful law. For example, the mask mandates. I knew from the beginning, just knowing the basis of law, that was an illegal mandate and that it wasn't going to stand. And had I been a sheriff at the time, that's what I would have said. I'm not going to support this. I'm not going to enforce it. If you have a problem with that, sue me. And then that way, all these other businesses and everything that got shut down, it wouldn't have got shut down unless I lost the lawsuit. But in that case, that's me putting myself in between the law and the public. Just as much as protecting people's property, you have to protect their rights also. And I think that's an important part of being sheriff. As far as my experience, so I don't know if you remember Bob Woolley, former Commissioner Bob Woolley. He embezzled. Well, I think he ended up getting sentenced for $450,000, but he had paid some of that down. He embezzled from the senior center, and he embezzled from the fire department. Remember out there?
Yep.
So this was when I was running for county commissioner. He was out of bond, and he was going down to the Blue Chip Casino and taking that money that he had stolen and playing in the high roller room and then paying it back because the sentencing level for amounts of money goes down. It goes up if it's more money, it goes down if it's less. So he was paying it down so that he could lower his sentence before he went in to be sentenced. And I found out that he was going down there through Ray, the same guy that told me to shut up if I wasn't gonna run. His wife worked down there, and I went and told the prosecutor, Mike Sepik. I said, "Hey, he's violating his bond. He's going down there. He's gambling. He's paying this back." And he's like, "Well, there's nothing we can do about it," because he already had a plea bargain agreement that he was just going to pay back the money, be on probation, and continue to be a county commissioner. And I thought, well, that's completely wrong. So I filed into the case, and I filed an amicus brief as a private attorney general, and I basically pointed out that it was wrong that they were doing that. And I met with Judge Schrock, and he agreed that was wrong. And he tossed out the plea bargain, and he ended up sending Woolley to prison for 2 years. So that's police work. As far as I'm concerned, that's police work. The road commission, around the same time, when we still had a road commission, they were going around and in the middle of the night, they were tearing up roads and then re-chipping them, right? I don't know if you remember they were doing that, but that was another thing that was a violation of their road commission code. So I got involved with that with the guy's last name is Glass over on M140. He got involved, and we ended up exposing the corruption in the road commission. And now there's not a road commission anymore. That's police work. That's the kind of experience that I'm going to bring to this. It's, there's much more to law enforcement than just being in a cop car and driving around on the streets looking or writing reports or whatever. There's a lot more of that. And the sheriff is an elected position for a reason. If it was just meant to be police, it would shrink the candidate pool to a statistical zero. Because frankly, the only people that run for this office are high level officers anyway. You're not going to get a basic street police officer generally to run for this. I couldn't find any. I couldn't even find high level officers that wanted to up until now, because Paul's gone, and it's sort of anybody's game right now. to set up a new administration.
Yeah. What do you see as the major crime challenges or major public safety challenges in Berrien County right now?
If you look at the books, it's domestic violence. That's the number one crime that we have is domestic violence, but it's something that people generally seem to ignore because it happens so much, in its personal life. But if you look at the news, it's the shootings and the killings. I mean, it didn't make the news, but for whatever reason, we've had 3 bodies show up in Niles, and they said they died of natural causes, but it could just as well be fentanyl that they're dying from, and there's people getting shot up in Benton Harbors, car chases, and it's a symptom of our society that people are losing respect for one another. They're losing respect for the law, and the more this stuff crumbles, the harder it's going to be to fix it. And my position is, as I believe in servant leadership, I believe in leading by example, and I know for a fact that if we don't get our communities involved, we're not going to get anywhere. The people in Benton Harbor know what their problems are, just like the people in Niles do. When I was going to school to be a counselor, they told me, I can't solve your problem if you have a problem, but if I sit and listen to you and I get you to think about it and you figure out your problem, you solve your problem yourself. And I think that's a lot of what we should do in America. We were always supposed to be self-reliant. We're supposed to take care of ourselves, and then we brought in the law enforcement. If there's a problem that we can't deal with amongst ourselves, then you have to get an outside source. But generally, we should be trying to deal with this stuff ourselves, and giving the people the ability to know one another and to work together. I think that'll go a long way in solving a lot of the problems that we have.
If you are elected as Berrien County Sheriff, can you describe your leadership style and especially perhaps the perspective of people who are in the sheriff's office now, those who have been wearing the uniform might see you as an outsider, somebody who's not been in law enforcement. How would you overcome that?
Well, I'm sure they do, because I am an outsider, and I've made that a point. But there's a lot of good people that work in the Berrien County Sheriff's Department. There's a lot of good people that work in law enforcement in Berrien County in general, in the municipalities. But it's hard to be a good public servant if your leadership isn't on the same page. And in saying that, like I said before, Paul Bailey used Benton Harbor for his whole career as a threat to the county to increase his budget. Whenever he wanted money, he talks about.
Well, but I'm asking about your leadership style. What would your leadership style be?
So for myself, having never been an officer, I believe in surrounding yourself with people who are smarter than you and better than you. So that's what I would do. The initial interview process will help me find the people that need to be in the right spots in the administration. Because, like I said, I know that I'm not a police officer, but I'm really good at reading people. I'm really good at leadership. I'm really good at getting things done. I've been self-employed my whole life, so I'm the guy that had to get it done. If I don't get it done, it's not getting done. So that's my philosophy that I bring into my leadership.
Okay. We're talking with Rick Berrien. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff. We'll be back with closing comments in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
Hi, I'm Jenny, the manager over at your Big Deals online store. Did you know that when you shop locally, 83 cents of that dollar stays in town? Local businesses are the lifeblood of our community, and that's why you should shop your Big Deals online store. Dozens of gift certificates to local businesses, all in one convenient place. And best of all, they never expire.
Don't wait. Go to bigdealsswmi.com today.
My wife and I both, we ended up mildly sick for a few months, and the nasal congestion was probably the worst part. I had like a post-nasal drip, just super congested all the time. We were taking everything we possibly could, but nothing really worked.
Kyrie was miserable until a friend recommended Navage. Navage offers immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Don't live in misery.
All right, before we go into your closing comments during the Moody on the Market update, Rick, what else should we be asking you?
I'm open. You can ask me whatever you want. I'm pretty open and honest about my position.
How's your marksmanship?
Well, when I went and got my concealed carry, I grouped my shots right on point. So,
okay.
But if you're talking about darts, it depends on the dart. The other day I was throwing darts and grouping really good, but they were.
Oh my goodness!
They weren't flying straight.
What's the secret to throwing darts?
I think it's putting your same foot forward as
your arm.
Hand.
I think you're right. Okay.
I was trying it the other way, and my wife was making fun of me because I do it right. So I did it that way. I did way better.
All right, we'll come back with the closing comments from Rick Berrien in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
Budget for. That's why Websticks offers the opportunity for someone like you to buy blocks of time that never expire. They'll evaluate the issue and give you an estimate of time. Then you just buy blocks of time for that project. Websticks has over 20 years creating and, better yet, fixing thousands of websites. They're excited to be serving Southwest Michigan. Purchase your blocks today by contacting Websticks. Call 269-925-1123 or visit stunningsitesmoreclicks.com today.
Stunning sites, more clicks. Web design from Websticks.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
It's 7:53. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Thanks for joining us. It's time for your Moody on the Market update. And your Moody on the Market update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And our Moody on the Market update today, interesting people you should know. And we have Rick Berrien in here. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff. And so, Rick, this is your opportunity, as we've given all candidates, for you to ask for people's votes. Tell them why they should vote for you.
Well, I'm asking for your vote because I want to make these things happen that I'm bringing forward, like the 24/7 court, the Office of Constitutional Policing, which we didn't talk about, but I want to do the Office of Constitutional Policing so all of our policies and procedures can be constitutionally approved, so we don't have to worry about civil rights lawsuits and civil rights violations. If you want someone that's going to come in there and try and make a difference, I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to put in policies that bring the Berrien County Sheriff's Department into the 21st century. I'm the guy that's going to do that. If you want someone that's outside of the system, that you want someone that's not a career police officer, you want someone that's not a career politician, I'm the guy that you want to vote for. I think there's a clear choice. There's 3 police officers and there's me. So if you want a police officer, then those are the 3 guys that you should be looking at. And if you want someone that's from outside, then I'm the guy that you want to be looking at.
All right. Rick Berrien, he's running for Berrien County Sheriff. Thanks for coming into the studio and joining us today. How was the coffee?
Oh, it's good. Thanks for the opportunity.
See, good coffee. If you come into the studio, WSJM. All right. Well, Rick, thank you for joining us. If you missed any part of that interview on the video live stream, we have the whole thing. It's going to be archived. It'll be up on our Facebook and our YouTube. You can go back and watch that, or any of the other candidates who we've interviewed, including the current sheriff, Chuck Hite. All that is on our Facebook page at WSJM. It's 7:55. We've got a whole lot more coming up, including the ABC National News at the top of the hour. We'll have our local news, our local sports, weather forecast, all that and more for you for free right here on WSJM.
Rich Brand and Tarek Halsey from Insurance Management Service, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and Niles, know it means something to have peace of mind knowing your insurance is taken care of.
Some people try to do the analytical game of, which plan makes more sense dollar-wise over a period of time, over a lot of years. Does it make more sense to take this deductible or that deductible, or have this coverage or have that coverage? And at the end of the day, it really comes down to what helps you sleep at night.
Taking the time and just explaining to people what these coverages are and the positives and the negatives, that to me is a big deal. That's how.
Okay, thanks for joining us during our candidate discussion. We've got 2 more to go. Tomorrow we'll have another candidate for sheriff in, and then we'll have a candidate for treasurer in. That's coming up here on the WSJM Morning Show. Later this hour, we've got, not later this hour, in the later next hour, 8 o'clock hour, we're going to have the Daily Buzz with Paul Landecker. We'll have our ABC Tech Trends. We'll do news and sports and weather and a whole lot more. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us on the video live stream as well. If there's a guest in a community around here, around Southwest Michigan, that you would like to see come in and talk with us here on the WSJM Morning Show, I invite you to let us know. Let me know. and I'd be more than happy to have them to talk to them and see if they are a good person to have on the show. I mean, because we like to talk about community. We like to talk about things that are happening in Southwest Michigan. If you have something that you want to talk about or you want to see talked about on the WSJM Morning Show, we'd love to have those people in. So we've got a full slate for July, but we're looking for guests for August right now. Just email me at kenl@wsjm.com. I'll be more than happy to take a look at it. We've got more coming up, including the Moody on the Market update. I wrote a story yesterday for Moody on the Market. We'll talk about it in the 8 o'clock hour. And this one made me incredibly hungry because the tacos that they're talking about with the taco truck, they look and sound scrumptious. Even for a vegetarian, the beef tacos that they had, it looked really good. So we'll talk about that next hour. It's right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you later. Bye.